Hello, everyone. You're welcome to another exciting, another enlightening, and another interactive episode on the Amalgate Radio Communications Program. I remain your host, Adikbeju Jayoba, and together we've been looking at good practices in change management. Thank you so much for joining in today, and I am sure that you're going to learn something new that will be useful and instrumental to the growth and the development of your organization. We're so delighted to have you here. All right, let's jump right into what we have to discuss today. So far on this program, we've been considering change, organizational change, and change management. And one of the things that we've been able to establish is that change is inevitable. Change comes for us all. It comes, for everyone, whether in life or in business. Change comes for everyone. And one of the things we have said is that it is not a matter of if change would come, it's a matter of when change will come and the dimension or the type of change that will come to your organization. And if we look at the world of business today, we can see that the business space has become very dynamic. It is always evolving and changing so rapidly in very short periods of time. And the changes that occur in the business space or in the organizational setting comes in different versions. It can come in organizational structures or the technologies that are being used by companies or the employees within the organization and their perception to work or their perception to the culture of your organization. Change can also come in line of your production techniques and processes, as well as the concept of business management and leadership in your organization. Change will always come in different fashion and in different forms. And this tells me that because change will always come, it is important that organizations prepare and strategically plan for change, because change should not be allowed to happen just like that. Because if change is not managed effectively, it can bring about results that you were not planning for. As AP Sloan, one of the I'll call him the big boys in the technological space, wrote, in his book, My Years with General Motors, he says the circumstances of an ever-changing market and an ever-changing product are capable of breaking any business organization if that organization is unprepared for change. Meaning that whether a business would ride on the wave of change and thrive and become successful, or if that organization is going to be swept under and carried away by the wave of change, depends on how prepared they are for that change. And this means that change management is very essential and important to the successful execution and implementation of any change within your organization. It tells me that systems and structures must be put in place to ensure that you are ready for the change or for whatever change that is coming. Because sometimes you might not know the kind of change that is coming, but it is important that you have systems in place that can effectively handle and control change when it comes. And so what is change management? Like we've defined earlier, change management refers to the systematic approach to dealing with the transition or transformation of an organization's goals, processes, or technologies. And what change management does is that he guides organizational change. It's like the steering. And so it guides or, turns or steers organizational change starting from, the earlier stages of conception, conceiving the change and preparation through implementation, and finally to resolution and embedding that change in your organizational culture. So, change management refers to the systems, the strategic plans, the approaches that you put in place to ensure that when change comes, your organization is ready for change. One of the things that we have seen also is that change management can, have a variety of labels in organizations. Probably you're wondering, my organization has never, come up with a change management structure or a change management approach or protocol, or what is this change management? It's been called different names. In some organizations, it's called total quality management. For some, it's called re-engineering. I'm sure you've heard of terms like restructuring. Probably that's the term you use in your organization, or you're referring to cultural change. Some organizations call it turnaround, while some call it transformation. Whatever the balance is or the term that you're using in your organization, the core goal of any change or any organizational change is the same. The core goal is to radically change the organization's style of doing business in order to survive in the new, more diverse, innovative, and highly competitive market environment. So when change comes to any organization, it is geared towards one purpose: to ensure that your organization or your company or any other organization thrives and becomes successful in the ever evolving and ever changing business space. And that tells me, or this means, that organizational change is very key to the productivity and the success of any organization. And to ensure that change achieves that grand goal or objective that you desire, change management is a must. In your organization, you must ensure that you have a change management protocol or strategic approach that helps you handle or manage change. Now, if we look at the concept of change management effectively, or if we look at it holistically, one of the things that we would notice is that for change or for organizational change to indeed be successful, we have key players or key factors that are instrumental to the success of any organizational change. And one of such that we'll be considering today are the leaders or the leader of the organization. Yes, leaders play a crucial role in steering organizational change. Leaders play a crucial role because from the conception of change to the strategic planning of change to the execution and implementation of change and to the resolution of change, you have leadership going on throughout the journey. It takes, the conception of change, the vision of change, the reason for change starts with the leadership of the organization. The leaders sit down, they appraise their business processes, or they review and analyze their competitors, and they say, what, guys, we have to change the way we do things, or we have to improve on our business processes, or we need to change direction completely. We need to face a different direction, or we need to do something new. We need to bring on board this technology. It starts with the leadership. That means that the leadership of an organization is very important to the change system or the success of change in an organization. Effective leadership, first and foremost, provides the direction and the vision of change to the people. Remember, we talked about this when we looked at the principles, for an effective change management. There must be a vision. The people must know why do we need this change? What is the reason for this change? What is the benefit for the change? What are the benefits this change is bringing to the organizations? And so the leadership provides that vision and direction to the people in the organization. They develop a conducive culture and environment, climate and values that enable certain expected, behavioral conduct out of employees to ensure that the new change, or to ensure that this change that is coming on board, becomes successful. Leaders also conceptualize and administer suitable strategies that drive continuous improvement in existing processes. That means that leaders continue to evaluate their processes. So we achieved this in 2023. Wow, that was great. But if we continue at this rate in 2024, would we still achieve the same, goals? Would we still record the same, successes? Or we need to improve? And so leaders continually, administer suitable strategies that drive continuous improvement in existing processes. They also motivate employees for superior performance. They are looking at ways, whether through trainings, whether through, continuous learning culture in the organization, or employing best fits from the talent pool. They are looking for ways to motivate employees for superior and better performance, and they are trying to also facilitate change across various functionalities in the organization. So leaders are very important to the change of the organization, particularly transformational change. Yes, transformational change. And somebody might be asking, are you saying there are different kinds of changes? Yes. Remember, in our first episode, we talked about two kinds of organizational change. And we said that you can either have adaptive changes or transformational changes. And adaptive changes refers to the small and gradual changes that an organization undertakes to evolve its products, processes, its workflows and strategies over a period of time. So an example of an adaptive change is hiring a new team member, or implementing a new work from home policy, or changing resumption time. Those are small gradual changes that an organization takes that affect it over a period of time. It's not major. However, transformational changes are larger in scale and scope, and they usually signify a dramatic and strategic departure from the usual or from the status quo. And so if any organization is going to embark on a transformational change, then the leaders of that organization are very, very key, because transformational changes are, like I said, they are larger and bigger in scale and scope, and they make definite impact on the organization. In fact, Cummings and Worley defined, transformational change or organizational transformation as a process of radically altering the organization's strategic direction, including fundamental changes in structures, processes, and behaviors. Fundamental changes. So it changes the strategic direction of the organization. And so leaders are very important in ensuring that, especially when transformational change is about to occur, they play a very crucial and vital role in transformational change. So transformational change, is required or occurs when you have things like when you have significant changes occurring in the competitive, technological, social, or legal environments. As the external environment is bringing up changes, there are significant changes occurring in the external environment, and that is informing the decision for change in your organization. For example, your competition comes up with a new, better, and improved way of doing things. You would want to implement innovative changes in your organization. Another reason for transformational change is looking for ways to come up with better product development and marketing strategies. When you say, okay, we've been doing this way and we're not getting excellent results, and now we need to look into this direction, that can bring about a major change or a transformational change in your organization. When you have a financial crisis or a major economic downturn, that can inform a transformational change. Like I said, okay, guys, or everyone in the office, we need to change the way we do things, or we need to look into this direction if we are going to thrive. Remember, I said that the wave of change can either put a business under and completely wipe out a business, or if the organization is well prepared for that change, they can ride on the wave of the change. And so those are reasons why transformation, now change, can occur. Now, having established that leaders are very instrumental and crucial to the change process in the organization, particularly major or transformational changes, we want to look at the impact of leadership on change management. And one of the things I want to say is that the kind of leadership that impacts change in an organization very strongly is transformational leadership. Wow, I'll say that again. Transformational leadership. It sounds like, transformational leaders will, effectively handle and manage transformational changes. Very correct. Transformational leadership. The prerequisite for a successful program is the presence of a transformational leader who motivate others to strive for higher goals, to do better. Transformational leaders will go beyond the transactional day-to-day management of problems in the organizations. They commit themselves to motivating and inspiring their people or their employees to action, and they focus on the development of new products, new processes, and improved or better innovation that is committed to achieving that goal or the future that the organization desires. One of the things that transformational leadership or transformational leaders bring to the table is that they bring a clear and concise vision to the table. They bring clear, concise. You cannot mistake, or you cannot confuse the vision for the change. It is clear to everyone why there needs to be change. And my colleague Tolu Omodara has done an excellent job on the making of a transformational leader. If you want to know more about transformational leadership, you can check our MixLR Reels, and I'm sure you would get so much, useful and instrumental insights and information on how to become a transformational leader. Because it takes much more than hello, hi, let's get to the business of the day to manage transformational changes. Let's not forget that every change will elicit some form of resistance from your people. People are usually afraid of changes, afraid of the impact to cause in their lives and in their work. People are afraid of failing. People are afraid of what will be, afraid of uncertainties. And so it takes a transformational leader to motivate them and to inspire them and to allay their fears, and show them that the change the organization is about to embark on will be very important, or will be very useful, or will be beneficial to the employees and to the organization as a whole. And we can say at this point that transformational leaders are the real champions of change, because they are visionaries, like I said, who influence and motivate their teams to achieve excellence for business performance. They also give importance to the development of teams. They believe so much in collaboration because they believe that no one should work on their own. And so transformational leaders believe in bringing the strengths of everyone together so that no one feels alone while embarking on the change journey. Nobody feels like, I don't even understand what is happening. A transformational leader ensures that everyone is on board, all hands on deck. Everyone feels like they're part of this change story. And when the success comes, everyone feels like, wow, I contributed my quota, I contributed my talents, my skills, my innovation, I contributed my creativity to achieve this beautiful change project. I'm a part of this change story, and everyone can celebrate together. And that is one of the things that transformational leaders do. So they focus on team building, they focus on empowering the employees. They also look for a way to align individual and organizational goals in such a way that employees don't feel like they are losing out on their own individual goals just to achieve the organizational goals. So transformational leaders are very important, or they are very strategic to transformational change. So very quickly, let's look at ways the transformational leaders influence and impact organizational change. First of all, they create a vision. I cannot overemphasize that again and again. They create a vision. Transformational leaders are responsible for the conceptualization or envisioning the change, and they ensure that that vision is shared and communicated across all levels to inspire and motivate people, and drive them to excellence at work. They create a clear and a compelling vision. I mean, you cannot doubt it. You cannot fault it. You're like, yes, this is what, we are out to do. This is what we are out to get. We are setting out to become the best in our industry, and everyone is moving towards that vision. Another thing the transformational leaders do is that they set examples, or they model it. You see, transformational leaders are leaders indeed. They are not the do as I say, they are the do as I do kind of leaders. They are the ones who step out in front and get their hands dirty. And so employees are motivated because, if there's any change that comes into their organization, they start to, implement that change first. They start to execute the change first. So transformational leaders inspire their employees through, the exemplification of good behavior or desirable code of conduct. They are the first to start to model that change that is coming to the organization. Another thing that transformational leaders do, while embarking on organizational change, is that they establish standards. They establish well-defined standards and norms that guide the employees in following a desirable pattern of behavior. And this helps everyone to work towards the fulfillment of common goals through a collaborative approach. Remember, one of the things I said is that transformational leaders love to build people. They love to build teams. They believe that, like the popular acronym for team together, each can achieve more. So they believe in the individual strengths of everyone, and they believe that when these strengths come together, everyone or together we can achieve the vision or the corporate goal that we have set, or that we have put in place. And so they establish standards of behavior. This is how we're going to be behaving. This is how to go about our processes. This is how we'll respond to clients. This is, the new innovation we're going to be implementing. Okay, we're going to be using this new technology because it would, make our work processes or our product delivery better. They establish standards. Another thing transformational leaders do is that they ensure culture and climate building. Culture and climate building. Remember that the culture of an organization talks about the identity or the brand of that organization, while the climate talks about the work environment. talks about the environment that surrounds the organization. When I talk about climate, I'm not talking about, physical weather conditions like the rain or sunshine. I'm talking about the environment in which the business is conducted. So one of the things that transformational leaders do is that they facilitate, a climate or an environment and a culture of mutual respect. They facilitate a culture of interdependence. Remember, we talked about team building and collaboration. And they also, facilitate a culture or a climate of flexibility. They ensure that everyone's idea is accepted and, everyone has a part in the decision making. They make sure that they are listening to everyone. And that's one of the beautiful things that transformational leaders do. And so they create an atmosphere where everyone feels like they belong, everyone feels like they are valued, everyone feels important. And so everyone can contribute their quota effectively to achieve the milestones or the goals that has been set, by the organization. And one of the things that this does is that it motivates individuals to deliver excellent performance and exceed expectations. Because the moment you make your employees feel important, the moment you make them feel valued, when you create an atmosphere of mutual respect, of interdependence, of collaboration, innovation and flexibility, then employees want to give their best to the organization. Another thing that transformational leaders bring to the table is external communication and liaison. Transformational leaders establish a connect with the external world. They are in constant communication with key stakeholders. They want to ensure that everyone who is involved or who will be impacted or affected by the change process are informed and carried along. They make sure that their stakeholders are informed and are, carried along during the change project. And one of the things they also do is that, they communicate with, stakeholders for resource support, for technological assistance, and they acquire knowledge, regarding the best practices in leading organizations in their industry. So transformational leaders are always learning. They're always looking for better ways to deliver their products and to ensure that their customers are satisfied. Another thing that transformational leaders do that impacts or influences organizational change is team building or synergy. And I've talked about that earlier, that transformational leaders always desire to create or build a motivational climate that, allows for positivity and allows for collaboration. They believe that no man should be left alone, no man should be left behind. They believe that no man should be, lonely on the journey of change. And so they believe that everyone is, working together, each person supplying their part. It's just like the human body. Each organ supplying their part to ensure that the entire, organism is whole and is fine. And so they believe in collaboration and they create atmospheres that allows for positive work environment and team building. And then lastly, I'll be talking about talent acquisition and development. Transformational leaders have this keen eye for amazing or qualified or competent talent. They know how to identify the best in the talent pool and they know how to nurture them with adequate training and development support. And one thing that transformational leaders do is that they go beyond educational qualification and competence and they look out for behavioral competencies. They don't only look at the skills and the abilities of the new hires or the new recruits. They also look out for behavioral competencies like integrity, teachability, innovation, creativity. They look out for all those things. And what that does is that they bring in, persons who are qualified and well fit, that can be nurtured to achieve the vision that has been set in the organization. So very quickly, I want us to look at examples of best practices of transformational leaders in the business space. And so we have different global organizations who have exemplified themselves, as transformational leaders and have stepped into transformational changes and have come out successful, meaning that they've gone through major changes and they have come out on top. And so if we look at transformation in technology, we have various technology giants like Apple, Microsoft, Intel, and many others. And what they did was they revolutionized the computing world through technological innovation by introducing state-of-the-art quality software applications and microprocessors. And what you see with these organizations is they always want to be better. Yes, these organizations are always getting better at their game. One of the things about these organizations is that every quarter or every year, they're bringing out new versions, bringing out newer models because they want to stay on top. And that tells you that they go through major changes or transformational changes. And that way, they also, not only do they inspire and motivate their own employees, they also inspire and motivate upcoming businesses or upcoming organizations in the technological space. Another organization that has excelled in the transformational change space is Google. The world of internet has witnessed a major change in the contemporary space with Google. We've also seen Amazon and eBay coming up as leading e-commerce platforms. So you see organizations also looking for processes and making sure they get better at what they do. Going to the financial service industries, we have pioneers like Peter Lynch, who was the proponent of mutual funds, and we have John Bogle, who was the proponent for index funds. And what they also did is that first of all, they changed the attitude and preference of investors on various financial portfolios. And so what they did was they also they took advantage of technology, and then they did a lot of researching, and they brought up platforms that offers investment options to investors, to organizations, to businesses, to individuals, such that people have choices, multiple choices and options, and usually these options have low costs involved, and they have diversified benefits, meaning that the benefits for each option is specific to the option, and you can pick whatever option your organization wants or you want as an individual, based on your preference. And so that is a transformation in the financial industry. And then we've also seen transformation in the area of inclusion and diversity. In this era of globalization and liberalization, we have seen organizations follow, the inclusion and diversification strategy for business expansion across the globe and maintaining a leadership edge in the competitive market. And one of such transformational leaders is Jack Welch, the CEO of General Electric. And what he did was that he restructured the entire organization from the regular traditional bureaucratic setup to a more agile lean framework that involved more persons from different races and different tribes, and it involved more women in strategic decision making and leadership roles. And tell me or show me an organization that is open to inclusion and diversity, and I would show you an organization that a lot of employees would love to work in. And so that is one organization that created a major transformation in the inclusion and diversity space. Wow, that is all we'll be able to take for today. One of the things I want you to know, and I will always reiterate, is that change is good. When change comes and when it is effectively managed, it can take you, from being a nobody in your industry to becoming a relevant force in your industry. All you need to do is to put strategic plans in place to ensure that you're steering the change in the direction of your vision. And today we've seen together that one of the ways you can do that is to be a transformational leader. When you're a transformational leader, you can inspire, motivate, and influence your employees not only to embark on the change project, but to give their best and to achieve excellence performance and high productivity. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned so much that it can be instrumental to upskill your business processes. To listen to more of our programs, please visit our showreel on mixlr.com. For questions, for feedback, and for comments, please visit us at www.theamogate.org. We would also love to connect with you, so you can follow us on our social media platforms, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on Instagram. We would love to hear from you and we would love to work with you. Until I come your way, same time next week, keep being amazing and keep riding on the wave of change to your desired future. Bye for now.